Hey everyone, it's Mike the Scrapping Guy, and I'm here with another video tutorial. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can easily create a button in Photoshop Element 7. And the button that I'm talking about is the kind that people wear on their shirts or their jackets. A lot of times parents will put them on, or mothers actually will put them on their purse, and they'll have a picture of their son or their daughter, and it'll say something like number one, baseball player, or cheerleader, or something like that. So that's the kind of button that I'm talking about, and it's very easy to do in Photoshop Element 7. So what I have here is I'm going to get started with a blank image or blank file that we can work on, and I have it set up at 4 inches by 4 inches, and the dots per inch I have it set up at 300. And the first thing I want to do is go over and create a new layer so that it is on top of our background layer. Then I'm going to head over to my marquee tool and choose the elliptical marquee tool. And starting at the top left hand corner, I'm going to hold down the shift key and I'm going to drag down to the lower right to make a perfect circle. If I didn't have the shift key held down, then the circle wouldn't be perfect. It would be more of an elliptical kind of image. So what I'm going to do is hold the shift key down, let go, and there we have our circle. We've got the marching ants going on of what our circle is going to look like. So I'm going to come over, and it doesn't really matter what color we use for our swatch and what we're going to be putting in here right now. So I'm just going to leave that set at black. And I'm going to up to my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to click inside the circle. So now I have the black perfect circle there. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control D to deselect everything. And now we're going to go ahead and create that button look. So I'm going to head over to my effects window, and I'm going to hit the Layer Styles button, which is the second one in from the left. And there's in the drop-down menu, there's one that says Glass Buttons. You might have it set up as bevels or one of these other ones. So if you don't see glass buttons immediately showing on your screen, just go down and click on this to bring up the drop-down menu and make sure Glass Buttons is the one that's selected. And now here's where you can choose the color that you want your button to be. I'm going to go and I'm going to choose kind of a dark blue. And there we can kind of see our button taking shape. And although it's kind of nice, it's not really the effect that I'm looking for. I want to make some little adjustments to it. So I'm going to go down to my layers palette, or my layers window, and double click on the FX. And this is where I can make my little tweaks and adjustments. So the first thing I want to do is go down to where it says bevel, and I'm going to kind of make the size a little bit lower on that bevel to kind of give it more of an angle towards towards just on the edges, not all the way going into the center of the button. So we can kind of tweak that there. And if you'd like, you can also adjust the size of the inner glow. But actually where it was set up, actually it looked pretty good the way it was. But the big thing I want to do is change the lighting angle. And I kind of want it more of a straight up and down angle. So I'm going to change that to 90 so that it now looks like the light is coming from the top. That actually looks pretty good there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go and add some words to my button. So in that case, I'm going to go and I'm going to double click the color swatch, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to choose a yellow. Since we're working with blue, I'm going to kind of do the opposite color there. Go ahead and click on my text tool. Then we could choose whatever font we need or that you desire. So let's just try something there. See how that looks. Let me bring that over. Click the move tool. I don't really care for that font. Let me pick something that's more of a solid font. So what I can do is just go click on the text tool again, select everything, go back up, and we'll pick something else. Actually, you know what? That's pretty much of a straightforward font. So let's go ahead and use that. And what I need to do is actually make it a little bit smaller. So let me go and select it again. And what I could do, here's a little quick tip. You could either use a little drop down for the size and choose one of the sizes like this, or what you can do is if you click in that little menu numbers there, you can use your up and down arrow on your keyboard and individually select the sizes also. Sometimes that's a little more accurate. So you could do it that way. That actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move it up here. Now what I want to do is I want to make it kind of go with the curve of the circle of the button. So once again, I'm going to go and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to come up to the Create Warped Text tool. I'm going to click that button there, and right now we have style is at none. We want to change that to arc. You can see it kind of creates that curve look to it. And we can do is with the bend slider tool here, we can actually adjust how much we want that arc to be. So I'm going to leave it there, and actually I need to make that a little bit smaller. So let me bring it down in size. And we go ahead and click the move tool, and I'm going to bring it over. See how that looks? It doesn't look too bad. Okay, so we'll leave that one there. Then we go hit the text tool again and put my second line of text in there. Hit the move tool and we bring it over. Now we can see that's way too big. So another thing I could do too, if I wanted to, I can actually adjust the size of the text by holding the corner and just go ahead and adjust it that way. So we could do that, and we can also, if we want to make it a little bit taller, we can go ahead and do that by adjusting grabbing on the little handles on the text. Go ahead and hit OK there. Now once again I'm going to go to the text tool and select everything, go back up to the warp text option there, and I'm going to choose arc again. But this time, instead of going up that way, I'm going to bring it around to the bottom and bend it the opposite direction. Hit OK, and let me bring it up here a little bit. And once again, let me go ahead and grab the corner, make it a little bit smaller to kind of make it work there. There we go. So now we have the I love go in an arc at the top, scrapbooking as an arc at the bottom. And the other thing I can do is, let me just go real quickly and just put a little shape, maybe like a little heart or something in there. So I'm going to go and click on my color swatches. I'm going to choose a red color. And then I'm going to go over to my custom shape tool. And actually I have a heart already selected. I guess I used one from before. But what you could do is, if you look through all of your shapes, you can go and find a different shape if you like to put in there. And the heart was, I believe, down at the bottom. And the way I found a heart, it was actually in like if it was a deck of playing cards, because it had the clubs, the spades, and the diamonds, and a heart. So once again, I'm going to click on the heart, and I'm going to go ahead and drag one down and put it right in the center. And actually, if you look, the shape actually was at the bottom. So sometimes this will happen if you're not paying attention to your layers. It's at the bottom. So all I need to do is just go and drag that up at the above the black circle, and it puts it at on top of it again. And I'm going to go and hit simplify, and we now have our heart in the center. And we can go and make adjustments to that if we need to. If we want to make it a little bit wider, we can do that. And we're almost done. It's looking pretty good here. So the last thing I want to do is I'm going to add one more effect to give it even, actually two more effects to give a little more realistic look to it. I'm going to go and I'm going to merge all of these layers together, so this button is actually just one piece, not on individual layers. In order to do that, I'm just going to go and I'm going to select each layer. I'm going to hold the shift key down as I do that, but I don't want to select the background layer because I'm going to be getting rid of that. I just want to select these four layers. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit merge layers. So now we have our button is actually one graphic that we're going to be working on. So there's two things that I want to do. I'm going to come over here to my different tools. I'm going to choose the dodge tool. You might have the sponge and the burn tool selected, so just click on that button and make sure the dodge tool is the one selected. Then we're going to pick kind of a larger brush with a soft edge. Actually, I'm going to make it even bigger than that, so I can actually use the brackets on my keyboard to select that. What I'm going to do is actually go up to my exposure, and I'm going to bring that down to maybe about 60%. And I'm just going to click a couple times, And what it's going to do is create a little bit of a highlight on that button to make it kind of shiny, like it looks like it was a nice shiny painted button, and gives it a little bit more of an effect. Kind of looks kind of cool there. Now the last thing I want to do is go back up to my effects, and I'm going to choose drop shadows, and I'm just going to pick a low drop shadow and drag it onto it. And you can make some adjustments to that also if you'd like. If you want it to be a little bit of a darker drop shadow, a little bit bigger, and if you want it to be kind of farther away, you can do that. It's all up to you. Go ahead and hit OK. And the very, very last thing I need to do is just go to this background layer and hit the trash can to get rid of that. So now I have my button is on a transparent background. So I can use this in my different Photoshop, in my different digital scrapbooking layouts as a separate button on its own. So there you have it. There's a real quick and dirty, easy way to create a button in Photoshop Element 7.